can you cut down on your kids' screen time for the summer? It's Adam and Allison on Y101, and this is the Tuesday Tidbit. Think of this as like scrolling TikTok for like life hacks and stuff, things to make things easier in your day-to-day, but you don't have to scroll TikTok. You just have to listen Tuesdays at 7:20.
Which is important for cutting down on screen time.
It's a great point. It's really a good point. So Dr. Tiffany Munzer, who's a pediatrician and a digital researcher at Michigan University, put together a game plan to cut down on your kids' screen time this summer. She says that you should start with making a screen time plan. It should be predictable but flexible so kids know when they'll have access to screens and when they don't.
That makes sense, just because like routine is important for all of us. And sometimes we forget how important it is for kids. And so having that predictable routine so their bodies can get used to it, their minds can get used to it, but still having the flexibility for when things don't go according to plan.
She says you should set reasonable expectations for your kids around screen time.
I think that also means setting reasonable expectations for yourself, because I feel like there's so much in today's world that it's easy to feel like you're failing as a parent. I think maybe it's always been like that. But like if you're setting these unrealistic expectation of like, my kids are never going to be on their cell phones all summer, I'm going to keep them super busy, and then they get on their phones and you feel like you failed, don't do that to yourself.
Set boundaries for digital media content.
Makes sense.
Help kids cope with boredom. I remember my mom always saying she would like really get mad whenever we would say that we were bored in the summertime.
I mean, the cure for boredom for me growing up, if those words came out of my mouth, guess what was happening? Okay, mop the floors. Okay, clean out the, cabinets. Like there was a chore that could be done. So if you wanted to be bored, that's fine. But there was work that could fill that boredom.
So here's one. When screen time meltdowns happen, explain to kids that devices and platforms are designed to keep and hold their attention, so they make screens harder to put down. I think that that's too much explaining. I think, if I were a parent, it would just be like, give me your phone. Give me your phone. I'll give it back to you later.
I think some explanation is helpful, but understanding that that's not going to make the meltdown end. Just because they have the information, that might help them in the long run when they're adults and they need to set limits for themselves. But that doesn't mean that the tantrum is going to stop just because you explain it clearly.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, surely this 8-year-old is going to be able to think logically about this.
Yeah, it goes from like, to like, that makes sense. No, that's not going to happen.
Why didn't you say so, Mom? Last thing is get your kids outside playing with other kids to cut down on screen time.
Okay, but in this heat, like whenever I was growing up in Houston, Texas, summers were exactly the same as Mississippi. I did not want to be outside because it was gross. So like, then what?
Can't believe this so-called Dr. Pediatrician lady didn't come up with the idea that like the dad of the show, Jesse, who's on the phone right now, did for his kids to keep them off screens. Jesse, what were you telling me off the air?
It's real simple. Bought my kids Jeeps so they can take the doors and the top off, and then I built them a resort-style pool. Easy breezy.
I mean,
why didn't we think of that?
We all have the money for that, right?
Hey, that's why you invite friends over.
True.
How are you going to do that without getting on the screens, Jesse?
Oh, that's true. We can send letters. They'll come over in 4 days.
And so, you could talk on that corded phone. You could call like the good old days and say, "Hi, Mrs. Jessica's mom. This is Allison. Is Jessica there?"
That's right. We can send some carrier pigeons.
There you go.
That's it.
How's summer been going so far?
Oh, man. Good. Everybody is super dark, been tanning all day, and the pool is constantly running.
Love to hear that, Jesse. Thank you so much for the call. And I can't wait to get super dark red myself, which is typically the color that I tan to. It's more of a
lobster.
A rojo, if you will.
Adam and Allison in the morning.